Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're talking about how to read labels, how to shop for bourbon, and what really matters when you're looking to purchase a product.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
Today we're talking about reading labels and what matters when you're actually shopping for bourbon. But before we get into that, how you doing?
I'm good. We had a chill day today.
Yeah.
We're just sliding into the week. It's going to be awesome. So,
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm doing good. Our quick review that we're doing today actually ties in because we were recently in Minnesota for my youngest brother's wedding, which they asked me to officiate, which was really cool.
It was cool.
But this product is part of that. So let's get into our quick sip.
All right.
So I know you're happy about this. This is the Angel's Envy finished rye, and it's been finished in rum, Caribbean rum cask.
Yeah.
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? What do you say?
I don't know. I think Caribbean. I think I say Caribbean.
I think I say Caribbean too, but I don't know if it's actually Caribbean or not.
I have no idea.
You tell us in the comments below what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
You can fight about it down there. So anyways, this product for us is kind of special because for officiating my brother's wedding, they gifted us this.
Yeah.
And oddly enough,
so sweet.
This is a product that I have been thinking about getting, but it is $100. And that's a lot of money to spend on a bottle of whiskey. And we've had the Angel's Envy bourbon. It's fine. It's like a good intro pour, but it's really not in our wheelhouse. I had heard that this is much sweeter, which I didn't think you would like.
Right.
But then there's the rye, which you do like.
Right.
For me, it's $100, and there's other things I could buy. It's readily available.
Yeah.
$100. So it's got that going for it, the availability at least. But the price was kind of working against it. I've been wanting to get a bottle of this to compare in our blind head-to-head tastings that come out on Thursdays. Put this up against High West Midwinter's Night's Dram, which is another finished rye that people love, and it's a lot harder to get than this stuff, but the same price if you can get it at retail. So let's get right into this because we were gifted this. We also got to try it with family. So this is probably not going to be the most objective review.
Probably not.
It was a gift. And I'm glad.
There's emotion in this.
And one of the things too, I should say before we get started, whiskey makes such a good gift because, especially if it's an available whiskey, because what happens is that person, every time they pull that bottle out, they're going to think about you, especially if it's like a really nice bottle.
Yeah.
And then if it's something they can get again, when they finish that bottle, they'll buy another one
and they'll still think
about you.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, to me, the gift that keeps on giving. So some of our favorite bottles we've ever gotten as gifts are things like this bottle, Glenlivet 18. It's just these things that just keep on giving. We've gotten housewarming gifts from friends, Four Roses single barrels.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be anything
Woodford
expensive.
Reserve Double Oak we got as a gift.
Woodford Reserve Double
when
Oak.
we bought our house from the previous owners.
Yep. Some J. Mattingly light whiskey.
So awesome of
So
them.
we're running off the rails here
Sorry.
right from the get-go. Let's get into our quick review that's not so quick because we're bumping our gums. But that's how it goes around here sometimes because we're conversational like that. Let's get into this on the nose. Ooh, interesting.
It smells sugary sweet on the nose.
Yeah, it does smell sugary sweet, but I am getting that rye spice. I think
I'm getting
this
some
is
like Caribbean something. Like it's like fruity.
The rum?
Maybe it's the rum.
Yeah, I think this is a 95% rye. So it's definitely, to me, got that rye on the nose, but there's just so much sweetness there. It's like a real maple syrupy sweetness to me.
But it's like a maple syrup that has like other flavors added to it.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like somebody spilled maple syrup on spices, like rye spices.
To me, it's like somebody put maple syrup on a fruitcake.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's get into the taste.
Ooh, that tastes like a spiced cake. Spiced rum cake. For real.
Yeah. Oh, man. That is straight up icing on the back end. Like it hits you with the spicy fruitiness right up front. And then the finish is just all like...
This is like a cake in a bottle.
Yeah, it really is.
You get the cake and then you get the icing.
Yeah, it really is. It is. I mean, I think that's spot on. I don't think I can do any better on the notes than that. It's really sweet,
but not
sickeningly sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't particularly like sweet things, but it doesn't hit me like heavy and syrupy. Like it doesn't feel that. It feels bright and there's some pepper. There's some like spice there. So it kind of kicks you a little bit, but it's like sweet spice, like a spiced rum cake.
And 100 proof, it's approachable, especially because of the sweetness that's there. It's really approachable for 100 proof if you're somebody that is on the lower end of the proof preference spectrum. But there's enough flavor there that if you prefer things that are in the like 110 to 110s range, you're still going to get a lot of flavor in this product. I personally think this is a great bottle to have around.
It's different than I think anything you're going to have, probably.
That's a good point. Yeah, there is some uniqueness that goes into this product. And it's, you know, it's something that I'm maybe not going to pull out all the time because of the price point, but it's like a really good special occasion type pour. I think it's a fantastic gift. And I'm not just saying that because we got it as a gift, but this will be a bottle that I buy as a gift for other people. Yeah. Where are you at on this product?
So it's not your typical bourbon. It's going to be something different, which I love.
Well, it's a rye, so it's not your typical bourbon.
Well, it's not your typical rye either. It's not your typical rye.
Correct.
It's got its own distinct flavor. The price point probably drags it down a little bit for me, so I'm going to give it thumbs up, not 2 thumbs up, because if it was a little cheaper...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, still 1 thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's really good, though.
If this was $60, it'd be 2 thumbs up.
Oh, for sure. All day, every day.
At $100 for me, it's a thumbs up as well.
Yeah.
So, great product. Let's move that off to the side and get into our main topic. We've got a lot of bottles to talk about, but we're going to run through these quick because we're talking about what actually matters on a label. You walk into a liquor store, I think we've all been there at some point along the lines in our journey with whiskey. You go in, there's a shelf full of products, there's multiple shelves full of products, and you're looking at things and you're seeing some bottles look really cool and others don't, and some labels look cool and some don't, and they've got all these buzzwords all over them, and what really matters. Yep. And I'm going to just lead right off with my opinion here because I'm the one that does the whiskey shopping in the house. I don't think most of it matters.
Okay.
There's almost nothing on a label that can tell you what the product is going to taste like until you've tried it. And there's nothing on a label that can tell you whether you're going to like it or not until you've tried it.
Yeah.
So I think the primary thing you should look at is buying a bottle in your price point that you're comfortable with, that you're okay if you try it and you don't like it, you're not mad that you spent that money. I think that's almost the only thing that matters. Almost. Now, with that said, this would be a really short video and kind of lame if that was all that it was. But I do think that's true. With that said, if you're bourbon shopping and you see the word straight bourbon, you can look. We try not to make videos that are just things that you can Google around here. So you can Google what straight bourbon whiskey means and the requirements for that, or what are the requirements for bourbon aged in new oak barrels, you know, blah, 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 made in the U.S.
Yeah.
All those things, none of that stuff matters to how it tastes necessarily.
Okay.
So if you see straight bourbon, though, you know it's been aged for a while. You're good to go there. And then we're gonna pull some products and we're gonna look at things on the labels.
Okay.
So the first product we're gonna look at is gonna be Bullet Bourbon.
Very common.
Cool looking bottle, right?
Yeah.
Great looking bottle. Frontier whiskey doesn't mean anything. No. That's marketing. This bottle is marketing. Every bottle you see is just marketing.
I'm a sucker for a pretty bottle, though.
Well, and you know what? It is nice to see something pretty on the shelf. So there is something to be said for that, and even a nice bottle because we're Neanderthals, like seeing a nice bottle can make you like the whiskey inside of it more. It's the placebo effect, essentially. But this says distilled and aged in the Bullet family tradition. Doesn't mean anything. Still marketing.
Because we don't know what that is.
Nope. Bullet Bourbon, Frontier Whiskey, again, doesn't mean anything. 90 proof. So price, proof. Proof is the next thing you want to look for.
Okay.
If you know your proof wheelhouse. If you don't know your proof wheelhouse, look for stuff in the 80 to 90 point proof range.
And start there.
On bourbon. Because if you grab something that's barrel strength, that's 120 proof, and you get your face blown off, you know, you've got 2 Knob Creeks sitting next to each other.
When you don't expect it, it's not pretty.
Yeah. You've got 2 Knob Creek bottles sitting next to each other, and one's 120 proof and the other's 100 proof. If you're new, if you're watching this video and you're actually like wanting information from it, grab the 100 proof one because you need to start there before you work your way up into the higher proofs. So I want to put, it says made using our family's high rye mash bill and pure Kentucky limestone filtered water. High rye mash bills are just recipes, and if you're really nerdy they can tell you things about the product, but if you're not nerdy and you're just getting into this, you don't need to worry about that. Again, you need to just find something in your price point and in your proof wheelhouse. Start there, see if you like it. We'll get to more of that later, but this bottle says a lot of things. What it doesn't say is where it was distilled. It says it's bottled by Bulleit in Louisville, Kentucky, but it doesn't say it was distilled in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, so what does that mean? What's the difference?
So I think if you're looking for stuff on the shelf, price, proof, and where was it distilled? Because ultimately, the climate and the way that things age affect the taste. So Kentucky bourbon tastes like Kentucky bourbon. Bourbon can be made anywhere in the United States. So if you get something that's in Kentucky, it's used to that climate, the ups and downs of the seasons. Different mash bills, different recipes will taste different. But whether you could pick those out in a blind tasting or not, who knows? If your palate isn't super developed, you probably can't. We've been drinking whiskey. I've been drinking whiskey for most of my adult life. Couldn't pick out mash bills in a blind tasting still. So
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. So it's not about nerding out on all that stuff. It's really more about, do I like Kentucky bourbon? Okay, let me find other bourbons that were distilled in Kentucky and start going on that journey. Look at it more of like a journey until maybe you find a product that's really in your wheelhouse, and then you can just keep buying that. Maybe buy that, and maybe buy one more bottle. Try that.
That's something I would
start
do.
Branching out a little bit.
I'm a creature of habit, so if I find something I like, I'm going to continue to get it, and then maybe branch out slowly after that.
So I'm bringing these two up here for one specific reason. This is Four Roses Small Batch Select, but the small batch bottle looks the exact same. It just doesn't have the word select on it. This is New Riff, single barrel proof, and this particular one is the rye. So the reason I'm bringing these up here is because of small batch versus single barrel. Small batch doesn't actually mean anything other than the fact that more than one barrel went into making this batch. So it could be...
I always thought it was just made in smaller batches.
No, it could be 2 barrels combined. It could be... Well, see, now you're learning stuff too.
I didn't know.
It could be 2 barrels combined, or it could be 200 barrels combined, or it could be 2,000 barrels combined. You don't know. Now, single barrel means that it is 1 barrel that is dumped, and the bottles that come from that barrel, that's it.
That's it.
So the reason I highlight that, and I don't know if this tells me how many... A lot of times single barrels will tell you how many bottles the barrel yielded. But when you're looking at small batch, what you can by and large glean from that is it should be a more consistent product. So let's say you go buy Elijah Craig small batch. You try it once, and then you go back to the store and you get another bottle of it 3 months later. It's probably going to taste very similar to the first small batch that you had. Whereas if you get a single barrel product, we call it single barrel roulette because it's a little bit of a gamble. You could go back and get another single barrel from a different barrel and it could taste completely different. Even the same barrel in the same rick house where they store barrels on the same level right next to each other can taste totally different. They're likely going to taste similar, but they could taste totally different. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to gamble with your money and you find something that you like and it's small batch, or you want to find something that can be a staple, look for small batch. Look for your Elijah Craig small batches, your 1792 small batches, Buffalo Trace if you can find one of those. You know, Evan Williams, any Evan Williams product is going to be a small batch product other than the single barrels. You can't really go wrong with that.
If you're looking for more consistency, get a small batch over a single barrel.
Correct.
Product.
Know that with a single barrel, you might get something that's a little worse than the last one that you had, or maybe a little better than the last one you had. I also brought out this New Riff. By the way, we got this yesterday, and this is a fantastic rye. And by the time you see this video, you might have already seen our other video where this was in a lineup with a lot of really rare ryes. And it was really surprising.
It was surprising how it stood up, and we'll put the description for that video below if you haven't already seen it.
But there's a lot of other stuff in here too. It says barrel proof, so that just means that it's coming out of the barrel and they're not adding water to bring it down to 100 proof or 90 proof or anything like that. They're bottling it at what it comes out of the barrel. This particular one is 106.9 proof, which is actually kind of low for a barrel proof product. But it also says without chill filtration. That doesn't mean anything other than that they didn't run it through a filtering process to remove, they actually do screen it for barrel chunks.
Probably a little more like marketing jargon.
Yeah, a lot of people say that you get a better mouthfeel, like it's a little bit more oily and viscous on the palate, whereas like this is also non-chill filtered. They'll tell you right here, non-chill filtered. If you're really nerdy, that's fine, but if you're just looking for something to grab off the shelf and you're just getting started, don't even really worry about all that. I don't think. You're not going to pick it out in a blind. And everything else in here, like it'll tell you age at least 4 years, distilled, aged, and bottled by New Riff Distilling, Newport, Kentucky. Like they're
this one says
transparent.
Where it's distilled as well.
Exactly. Transparency. So if you can find that, if you're kind of past the beginner stages and you want to start delving deeper, look for transparency. New Riff is good about it. Bardstown Bourbon Company is good about it with their Fusion series. Definitely look that direction. Next up, Blade and Bow. This is a marketing masterpiece / disaster, depending on what side of the coin you're on. It says right here, Stitzelweller Distilling Company. Stitzelweller is the people who used to make Pappy Van Winkle back in the 90s and 80s and 70s and 60s. If it even is that old, I don't know how old Pappy is, but they used to make that. They used to be one of the most storied distilleries. This bottle says Stitzelweller all over it. Many, many different times.
So they're trying to appeal to the Pappy Van Winkle.
They're really playing it up, and they say that it's matured using rigorous Solera aging method. Look, all this stuff, it doesn't mean anything to the taste of the whiskey. They might have put a cup of Stitzelweller old Pappy Van Winkle recipe. They might have put a cup of that in
one barrel.
A huge vat of their whiskey and got this product. This is a marketing masterpiece. It's a really pretty bottle. It's good whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. We like this, but what you're looking at when you're looking at this is marketing. And I took the little key off that was clanking around, but it's even got a little key.
A little like charm key.
Marketing. Yeah. So just watch out for stuff like that. It does, and I brought that bottle out to say it doesn't mean that the product's bad,
but it also doesn't necessarily
it doesn't mean it's any better.
That it's any better or that you're going to like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up, Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Now, I'm bringing this out because double oaked. Okay.
That sounds fancy.
These products are becoming more and more prevalent on the market. And this is something I think that needs to be talked about. If you're somebody that's new into whiskey and you want to delve a little deeper, if you can see things that say double oaked or twice barreled or double barreled, all it means is it was aged once and then it was dumped out and put in another barrel for a short period of time.
Okay. And normally they don't tell you how long of a period of time?
Right.
Okay.
But what that double oak process, that double barreling process does is it imparts a little bit more sweetness. So if you're somebody who likes sweeter whiskey, I think it's a good idea to look towards your double oak products, particularly Woodford Reserve Double Oak, Old Forester 1910, even something like Cooper's Craft. I think it's Barrel Reserve or Barrel Select. It's like a $30 bottle. Okay. This and Old Forester 1910 are more like $50 or $60 bottles. But these products can go a long way if you like sweeter profiles. You like rye a lot more than I do because rye has more of a like tempered sweetness and a little bit of a fruity, spicy pop to it. And I don't necessarily love a lot of ryes, but I do like double barreled, double oaked ryes because it puts the sweetness in that I'm missing. Yeah. So check these out if you're looking for something a little bit more on the sweet side of the spectrum. And I think Woodford Reserve Double Oak is a great place to start at $50. You're typically going to pay a little more for a double oak product because more work goes into creating it.
That makes sense.
Next up is just look for the type of whiskey. This is Pikesville. This is a rye. You know, it's not on here now, but there was a little hang tag on here that said it was a second place or whiskey like gold medalist or something like that. You know, if you know you like bourbon, don't accidentally buy a rye because you heard it was good. Don't buy something because it has a tag on it that says it won some award. That doesn't mean anything. A lot of these tasting panels, these competitions that go on, like not everything is getting tasted and almost everything that enters gets a medal. So it doesn't mean anything that it wants. Now, this is a great product.
Yeah.
We really like it. Is a rye.
If you don't like rye, you probably would disagree with us.
Right. But I wish I had that hang tag still that was on it. But a lot of times when you see this in the store, it will have the tag that says it won gold medals and things like that. Doesn't mean anything. So make sure you watch out for the marketing trap of, I won some awards.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything. All right. Next up and last up before I do a couple of recommendations are Booker's and Good Times.
Okay.
Now, these don't seem related at first. This has this wax top. Doesn't mean anything. This has this little
cool, though.
Tater sticker here, which doesn't mean anything. It just means it's a pick. This does say that it is finished in honey barrels. So this is bourbon that was aged, and then it was taken out of the aging barrel and then put into a honey barrel. So you can look out for finished products, just like the Angel's Envy Rye was finished. It was aged in an oak barrel and then taken out and put in a rum cask. And that's going to impart different flavors to it.
For sure.
So definitely look out for things that are finished, because you may or may not like them. You know, Angel's Envy bourbon is finished in port wine casks after it's taken out, and that imparts a certain flavor profile. So if you try that and you say, oh, I really like that, look for other products that are finished in port wine cask or Caribbean rum cask or honey barrels.
Okay.
That's something good to look out for. But when you see a bottle like this with wax and stickers and stuff all over it, doesn't mean anything whatsoever. And as much as I like Booker's, all this scribble scrabble on here and this cool little thing that tells you, and they come and it's got the little book and it tells you all this story and stuff.
It's very cool marketing.
It's all marketing. So it doesn't tell you much about the whiskey.
But it doesn't, and I would be drawn to this, but I would know nothing about it.
I think these types of bottles make great gifts because it is cool, and I'm not poo-pooing on the story and the marketing and all that stuff. Like, you're in marketing, so like I'm not anti-marketing. I'm not trying to rally against that.
Yeah.
That's not what we're trying to do on the channel. But it's more of a buyer beware type of situation.
Don't buy because of the marketing.
Don't go into these products thinking they're going to be any better than anything else. Honestly, going back to the advice at the beginning, look for proof, look for price, or look for price first, then look for proof, and then look for some level of transparency. Because so much is marketing fluff, and there's so few companies out there that are actually transparent. Now, with that said, when you're talking about transparency, you're going to get that on more new distilleries. That doesn't mean they're going to be good. I think the best thing to do at the beginning is just start with the legacy distilleries. Start with Wild Turkey, Elijah Craig, Heaven Hill, Buffalo Trace, Four Roses. Grab some products that are in your price point range. Maybe not the cheapest stuff. Maybe spend a little bit more than $15 or $20. Maybe try to work towards that $30 price point. Try to get a bottle of like 1792 small batch, Buffalo Trace if you can find it, Evan Williams single barrel or Elijah Craig small batch. I said 1792 small batch. Try to get some products in these wheelhouses. Grab yourself a Maker's Mark 46, which is a little bit better than the regular Maker's Mark. There's just a little bit more going on. And get yourself some of these legacy classic products. Find out what you actually like without spending too much money right up front. And then once you know that you like something in that flavor wheelhouse, then you can start saying, okay, I really like Maker's Mark. Let me either look up comparable pours that might taste similar and start branching out from there, or it's a great opportunity to start building a relationship with your local liquor store where you can go in and say, hey, I like Buffalo Trace, but this product isn't around very much. What else do you have that might be good? Or I really like this Evan Williams single barrel. What other product might be good? And if you try this and you like it, then try this. Because they're from the same distillery, but they taste different. But they also kind of taste similar. So, and if you like this, then try this. And then start branching your way out from there. When you do it this way, it's, to me personally, it's really hard to go wrong. But just going out there and just seeing stuff that's in the glass case and dropping.
Or seeing like something on Instagram. And saying, oh, I want that. And you just go and get it sight unseen.
Or you think everyone else is posting about this thing, talking about this thing, saying how good it's going to be. And then you try it and you don't like it. And you're like, hey, hold on a minute. You know, you almost feel like you were sold a false bill of goods.
Or that you're wrong.
Right.
You could go either way.
And taste is so personally subjective that I think you really have to go on this journey for yourself.
Yeah.
And the best way to do it is start with your staples, spend about $30 on a bottle, find out where your lane is, and then start
find out where your
pushing
point
more towards
is,
that.
And then just start there and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into other stuff today. I'm very excited about this one.
I think you're excited because this is a very fall other stuff thing.
I love
and
fall.
You love fall. I was going to say, like, it's a little basic to love fall as much as you do.
I don't care.
But there's no shame for her in this. She fully embraces fall.
I've always loved fall because my birthday's in the fall. So I have a reason.
Okay. It's valid. It's valid. It's not just Ugg boots and PSLs. So, all right. Other stuff this week is a recipe. Check the description below. It's on the Traeger website. It's for a baked bourbon apple crisp.
So good.
It is insanely good. It is so easy to make. It's a little bit of work.
There is some time because you have to peel and slice apples.
Right.
So that being said, it's worth the time because after you do that, it's very simple to put together.
You do that, you throw it all in a cast iron skillet, and if you don't have a cast iron skillet, that should be other stuff in and of itself.
Yeah, we'll link some.
We'll put some
on
below.
Amazon below. We got ours from Amazon.
You got to get a Lodge, like they're great, and then you put all the ingredients in. The prep work, again, easy. Put some spices in there, throw it on the smoker, but if you don't have a smoker, you could just cook it in the oven. You just won't get that smoky flavor, but that smoky flavor really makes it. And then grab yourself some like homemade vanilla ice cream, some homemade style, like we like Bluebell, but whatever your preference is, knock yourself out. But you take that baked bourbon apple crisp with that smoky flavor imparted from the smoker, and then you throw a little ice cream scoop or two or 3 on top.
Melts.
And then it kind of melts a little bit. And you get the cold and the hot and the apple spicy. And if you like bourbon goes into it. Find yourself a bottle that you don't love, throw it in there. It's going to cook off. It's going to leave the bourbon flavor, and pair it with your favorite glass of bourbon. Let me tell you, this thing is a fall staple. It is a transformative experience.
That's awesome.
It's a little indulgent, maybe if it's just you and a significant other, but there's a presentation involved with the cast iron skillet and everything. So this is something that we really like to do in the fall if we have guests over to the house. But all the details are in the description below. And yeah, I mean, we cannot recommend this thing enough. Also in the description below is a link to our Patreon.
Yeah.
And if you like what's going on here on the channel and you want to support it and you also want to maybe join our online community, that whole element is through our Patreon, because we're not on social media, but we're a young growing channel and we're trying to build that up. We want it to be a real resource. There are resources on there for you, our score sheets that we use, our scoring system.
All the things.
You can check all the things out below and see if you want to get plugged in there and also join our community.
Thank you for watching. And if you liked today's video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out and shows us that you care. We like people caring because caring is sharing. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we post our videos, do our live streams, the whole deal.
Till next week, guys.
Cheers.